So, is it recording? Cool. So, welcome everyone to another Topic Tuesday. Um, every Tuesday we go through any struggles or that anyone has in the coaching group. And we go through topics, that people are struggling with, or any feedback that I get when I'm in the gym. Just so we can cover as many things as possible. So when someone struggles with it in the future, we can then go back to these either how it's uploaded as a podcast or as a video. We've got quite a few topics today. We've got a lot of things on like mindset, some things on supplements and nutrition as well. All of these videos will be split up into bite-sized episodes, so it makes it a little bit easier to consume, and a little bit more specific. So for the people that requested some of the stuff, they can just go back and refer to each of their sections. It will also be uploaded as one chunk as well. Got a few people here with me today in the Zoom chat. So as we go along, feel free to contribute, or if you have any questions, just pop it in the chat and we can talk about it as we go along. So the first one is how to deal with setbacks. So setbacks, first of all, when we're thinking about a problem and a solution, we need to think about why we've hit the place in the foot, like why we've come to a setback in the first place. Because unless we actually go back to where it came from, we can't actually resolve anything because all we do is we then just keep going back to the place that we were before. So I think what you need to do first of all is create this into a learning opportunity. So, for example, if I think about myself and any setbacks that I've had in the past, it's probably led to going too fast, too quickly into a journey. So if I was going into a weight loss journey, then I would double down too hard on the diet and I would double down too hard on the training. And it would just be like training twice a day, like no calories. And then by the end of the first week, we're crashed out. So in that context, what would you do? You would go, okay, cool. So learning opportunity is that, next time that I do this, I realized that this is not the appropriate way because all I've done is I've burnt myself out too quickly. And how do I deal with it next time? It's just go slower into the thing. You've now created a learning opportunity. So next time when you do it, you don't create the same mistake. And it's the same thing with anything. So maybe you're maybe you're going through, I don't know, sometimes if work is a struggle, I'm just trying to think of something that's a little bit more common as well. So you're struggling at work, your boss is a dick, and you're in a bad mindset, and you're finding it hard to zone out and get to the gym. But you know from a learning opportunity that when you do get to the gym or when you do get to the cross trainer, treadmill, and you do a little bit of cardio, you go for a walk, that makes you feel a lot better, and you can kind of you've got a clearer mind and you can think about things in a more positive light. So the learning curve there is then going, okay, what worked well in the past? I know that I feel better when I do X. So I know that when I'm feeling in this mood, this is what I need to do to resolve it. So once you find why that reason is and then what the thing is to help you, you then have to start going, okay, cool. So how can I build this momentum up? Because I'm in a place where I feel like crap or I'm in a tough place. So what you need to start doing is just get back into the habit of winning. And wins start from small bits. That's why I get people to share wins in the Zoom chat, or that's why I ask you about your wins. If it's as small as just drinking more water than you usually do. Maybe you hit your 2 liters, or maybe you hit your 1 liter, whatever it is, even if it's hitting 5,000 steps and you usually do 4,500, just getting into the habit of winning is still a habit that's worth creating because then your wins just slowly get bigger and bigger. And then when you do hit a setback, or if you do kind of go through a week of tough times or you're struggling, you then just build those wins back up again. And as long as you're kind of doing like a 1% every single day, then you're doing more than what you would be doing if you were doing nothing. So again, it's just appreciating the small wins and slowly building up the habit because the 500 steps then go into 1,000 steps and the 1,000 steps goes into 2,000 steps. And it's um, that compounding impact each time that just makes it get better and better and better each time. So if you've had a setback, that's absolutely cool. Um, don't overthink it, don't overstress, don't feel like this is the end of the journey. Just take it as a learning curve. identify what happened or why it's happened, take it on board, start small, and then we kind of build from there. And then what you need to remember as well is why did you start this in the first place? So if I go back to an always common one, like your boss is a dick and you just feel like shit and you don't really enjoy your time at work and everything's just really frustrating. Why did you start in the first place? Why is this important to you? Because you want to get out of that habit of just feeling like shit, going home, maybe just falling asleep, forgetting to eat. Like the reason why you started is to get out of this vicious cycle of not doing anything about it and not bettering yourself or focusing on yourself, because that's when you just lose everything. So you need to remember why you started this thing and why it's important for you to remind yourself on why you need to stick to this journey and do the thing that's going to make you feel better. If it doesn't make you feel better, then there's no point doing it, right? But I think deep down, everyone's come from a place of seeking that help, seeking this journey. So if you reconnect with your why, then there's no reason why you can't get back on this journey, essentially. So obviously that one's quite hard to go over as like a broad statement because a lot of the times it will be individual, but hopefully there's some things that you can kind of reflect on and kind of piece together for yourself in that. So dealing with setbacks, make it quick and simple. Um, take it on as an opportunity. Think about why it's happened, reflect, then start small, small wins. If you're struggling to get out of bed, make your bed. Then maybe the next day it's bed, shower, brush teeth. Cool, checklist. Create a checklist as well. Then maybe the next day it's okay, bed, make the bed, brush teeth, shower, go for a walk. Just small wins compound and then they lead to big wins. Start small. And then last one is reconnecting with your why. Why is it important that you do this? Because you don't want to be in the same position and you want to be in a progressive mindset, not a self-destructive mindset where things just get worse and worse because nobody wants that for anyone. And we don't want to get in that kind of we've got on a spectrum we've kind of got a point of no return when we're talking about mental health and setbacks. And that comes down to an individual, and only an individual can help that. No coaching, no other person can impact that. So there is actually a point of no return where it becomes an individual thing. So all we can focus on is when we're in that middle ground where times are tough, but we can still turn it around to get to the green zone. That's where we're focusing on that orange ground. If you're in the red ground, then that's a different conversation to be had. So that's how to deal with setbacks. And our second one. So if you're following along, you can still see the screen. Just put a number 2 in the chat, just so I can kind of get a warmth test, just see if everyone's still following along. And we're not completely disconnected. Zoom really struggles when there's like more people joining us and we're flicking through stuff. Cool. So supplements. So pre-workout, post-workout, what are we taking? How do we fuel effectively for workouts? Um, does it have to be supplements? Not at all. It can be real food or it can be food or a snack. So if we're talking pre-workout, obviously, funny enough, there actually is designated pre-workouts. So a lot of that will be like pre-workout drinks or pre-workout shots, an energy drink. So actually, in combination, we kind of split this up for the pre-workout stuff. So pre-workout, most of the time, if you want a good workout, increased focus, increased concentration, then we're looking at caffeine, right? So we want some sort of caffeine around 150 to 200 micrograms of caffeine. So maybe that's a cup of coffee before you work out. Maybe it's a cup of coffee before you go for a run. There's multiple studies, really in-depth studies to say that it does help to increase performance. So that's really, really important to consider when you're doing a workout. Obviously, you then need to balance that up of what time you work out and when you're planning on sleeping. So caffeine does last in the body for 10 hours. So if you're thinking about going to sleep sometime soon, then it might not be a great idea to have coffee. Can you fall asleep while having coffee, like before bed? Of course you can, but it's the quality of sleep that we're looking for. So that's just what you need to be aware of as well. So caffeine for pre-workout, absolutely great. Beta alanine, which is what you will find in most like pre-workout drinks, but you can actually buy it as an individual supplement as well. Um, this is pretty much just a lactic acid buffer. So like it just helps the body to be a little bit more efficient under exercise. But again, you'll find that in most pre-workouts, you can buy it as an addition, but it's not an absolute essential. The most important pre-workout that you need to consider before, going to the gym or before exercise is actually just food. So your carbohydrates and your protein. If you're taking these two together, it's actually a lot more effective, not only for your workout, but also your recovery as well. So what you want is actually a blend or a mix of carbohydrate and protein. So what would that look like in real terms? So that could be a banana with some peanut butter. Okay, we've got some good fats there. We've got our protein from the peanut butter, and then we've got our carbohydrates from the banana. What else could it look like? It could look like rice cakes. It could look like, a protein bar, or it could look like a cereal bar that you buy from the shop. It could look like a bowl of cereal with, you know, um, a protein like drink or a protein powder mixed with milk to then use as your milk. There's so many like just normal things that we probably don't think about that you could use as a pre-workout. And it's also great for post-workout and recovery as well. So what we need to think about is that literally just carbohydrate and protein together rather than just thinking about the protein. If we're talking about pre and post, pre-workout, probably more important to have carbs, and then post-workout, probably more important protein. But when you have them together, it's a lot more effective for the body. So again, just using some of those ideas to kind of build together your strategy, and it's what works well for you. So your body likes habit, it likes consistency. So if you're someone who will have like a cup of coffee and a banana before a workout and that works for you, that's what you keep doing because that will then become your ritual. Shock, that also then becomes a habit. So if you're struggling with the gym, we start to build habits around it. Like, do you leave your clothes out on the bed or whatnot? So if you can do that and you can stick to that, then that then becomes your ritual. How long before a workout should you take pre-workout? Probably about half an hour. It does depend what you're looking for. So if we're looking at food, then obviously it would be a little bit longer, maybe an hour and a half or an hour before, just to let the body digest the food. Because again, you don't want to eat something and then go and work out. Stomach cramps, you might feel a bit sick. So just let that kind of digest. So probably about an hour before. We're not talking about a big meal, just something nice and light, which is why I say like rice cakes or just a small bowl of cereal. Um, but if it's like a shot, if you are taking a pre-workout or if it's just a coffee, then probably about half an hour before. Make sure you have some water with that as well, just to help with the circulation, make sure it gets in the bloodstream and it actually gets a chance just to actually kickstart the body ready for workout. Post-workout, again, just to really emphasize kind of that protein and carbohydrate mix, is going to be a lot more effective. Um, and then another option is your BCAAs. So if you're literally buying supplements or if you have a supplement stack, then BCAAs are a great pre-workout or post-workout recovery thing. Um, Essentially what BCAAs are in simple terms, it's like chains of protein. So rather than actually having to take the protein and then it digesting, you can just take kind of like the branch chain amino acids that will just help and it will go straight into recovery. Um, so if you're looking at pre-workout and like shakes, for example, the question that came in the chat, um, it can be due to multiple things. Usually what it is Usually it's a combination. Yeah, so what most people find is if they take like a really high dosage of a pre-workout, you will get that itchy face. Like I always get it in my forehead. You might find some shakes. That's in combination with a high caffeine content. That supplement that we talked about, beta alanine. When you have a high concentration of that, that kind of gives you like that pins and needles feeling or that um, itchy kind of sensation on your body. So you just need to be aware with what dosages are in those pre-workout shots. It's going to be in pre-workout because that's the whole point of pre-workout. So what I would say is that if it is quite intense, then you just need to dilute it with some water. So if you're buying a pre-workout shot, just make sure you've got a bottle of water with you. Kind of take it in balance and just kind of let it slowly go into the system rather than just shotting it straight away. Um, that's one way around it. So, if your gym only has like two or three pre-workout shots available or two brands of pre-workout shots, then just dilute it and it should help a little bit. Um, but again, that kind of just that's kind of the idea of pre-workout, really. So, just stick to a cup of coffee if it is a problem and it's not a nice feeling, but um that's kind of the sacrifice you make. For anything else for post-workout, again, like some of the things I've mentioned in the past, like or more recently, what I've said is like bowl of cereal with, like protein powder, milk. You're then getting the protein and carbohydrate, perfect combination. Or just have a decent meal, chicken and rice, salmon rice. If you're having kind of like your beef, some pasta. All the normal foods that you would have, make sure you get your vegetables in there as well. So probably it's probably best to have your dinner after a workout, just to make sure that obviously when you go to sleep, you've got enough fuel for your body to then recover. If we're all good on that, then we'll move on to the next one. Just cautious on time. So we then go on to, was it breakfast next? Yeah. So breakfast. So easiest thing for me to say about breakfast. So Um, is breakfast essential? No, it's not. If you're not a breakfast person, that's cool. Like you don't feel pressured to have it if it's not part of your routine. And again, like if your body doesn't kind of agree with it, it makes you feel lethargic, then don't do something that you don't enjoy or don't like. Um But what are quick, easy breakfasts that you can have or bring to work with you? And maybe it kind of crosses over to your lunchtime. So just some things that I would have personally is things like Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt is kind of my answer to everything. Um, High in protein, you can get 0% fat. And the volume that you can have just makes the body feel full. So you could have like a whole tub of Greek yogurt and it's going to cost you like 300 calories, whereas, you're having a bowl of cereal and to match that volume, you're probably talking about like 700 calories plus the milk. So Greek yogurt is kind of your answer to everything. It's a great way to increase your protein. And what you can do as well is add, you can add your frozen berries or your frozen fruits. If you take it to work with you, by the time you get to work, they're defrosted. You got like quite a nice little combo of like a cold ice cream texture. Um, or you can kind of mix it with some oats as well. So Greek yogurt is a really simple one. You can get little pots. So you can get like a pack of six or that, and you can kind of break them up, bring them to work with you. So that's like kind of like the easiest one. Um, you can kind of go with if you're at home, then obviously eggs is going to be a game changer. Again, high in protein. Eggs are like super cheap as well. I think people don't actually think about the concept or what you gain from eggs versus the cost. So if you get like a large box of eggs, and you're having like three or four a day, when you actually work out the cost of the breakfast per day, it's like a lot cheaper than most cereals. So don't underestimate eggs. What can you have? You can have some bread if you want. If you're not a fan of bread, then you can always change it up. As ridiculous as it sounds, you could have it like you could have your eggs and you could have a banana or you could have some berries. kind of mix it with some fruits, because fruits are still carbohydrates. So you're getting loads of good fats from the eggs, and then you're having your berries from your carbohydrates as well. And then kind of like a last option, or another easy way to do your breakfasts. And this has been really successful when I've done like challenges in the past. And I know that some people in the group chat like doing this, is anything that's overnight based. So when we think about overnight breakfasts, we always think about overnight oats. But you can do Weetabix as well. So overnight oats, really, really simple. All you do is you buy a big box of rolled oats, weigh out however much, put your milk in, and then you can put, cacao powder, you can put your protein powder in it, you can put your fruit in it, pop it in the fridge, wake up the next morning, you can put it in the microwave if you want, or you can just get going and it's ready to go. Super, super simple. Or a really popular one that I've seen before as well is you put your Weetabix in, and dependent on your protein powder you use, you can use kind of like a vanilla protein powder, or something that reminds you of something sweet. If you kind of if you have a sweet tooth, then that also works as well, and that's also an option. Also for breakfast, don't underestimate the simple things. Things like Rice Krispies or Cocoa Pops. Do we want to overconsume them? No. Is it a shock that I'm saying this? Probably. Is it a bad thing? No. These cereals, especially when you get branded versus like the home stuff, it is typically a little bit better with sugar. It is fortified with iron. They are fortified with most vitamins as well, especially vitamin D. So a lot of thought process has gone into cereals. As long as you can kind of digest them, then it's going to be, and it works for you, then by all means, I'm not demonizing cereals. I actually think they're really handy. So especially rice-based cereals, so things like Rice Krispies and Cocoa Pops, rather than the wheat, because I know that the wheat can be quite heavy. It doesn't always agree with everyone's stomach, so probably more so the rice versions, but whatever works for you, as long as it fits the calories, then why not? It's about being consistent. And again, like don't feel pressured to have breakfast, unless you're working out, unless you're going for a run, or you've just got like a really long day, then maybe you don't need breakfast. But just think about the timing of when you eat things. There's no point, having breakfast if you're not going to do anything for the next few hours. Have it before you do some sort of activity. So then it's actually being utilized for fuel rather than just being used as storage. So hopefully there are a few breakfast ideas. If anyone has any questions, make sure you're popping it in the chat. And then before we go on to our last one, just pop a free in the Zoom chat if you're still here with us and still paying attention. Cool. So third and fourth and final one is snack hacks. So, not hula hoops, as some of you may be disappointed. So we've got snack hacks, my top snack hacks. Wow, that's crazy to say. Didn't think about that. Snack hacks. There we go. So number one for me, Greek yogurt, again, simply because of the volume. So I'm someone I like to eat a lot of food. So Greek yogurt is perfect for me. There's a lot of volume, and you don't feel guilty for having a lot of it because there's not as many calories. Do you need to be careful? Yeah, of course you do. It's always about portion size and portion control. But in terms of how much you can have versus the cost, or how guilty you feel because of having it, Greek yogurt is a great one to have, and it should just always be in the fridge. If you don't like the taste of Greek yogurt, good. You can add some protein powder in it to change the flavor. So for me, like my like thing that's keeping me on track and keeping me sane is Greek yogurt with like chocolate protein powder, chocolate peanut powder as well. Um, Not only does it like triple your protein intake, but it also just makes the Greek yogurt taste a little bit nicer if you don't really like the bland taste. Greek yogurt is also a great way to kind of advance or spice up your sauce game. So if you're cooking like chicken and rice and you're bored of the plainness of it, Greek yogurt chucked in with your chicken and rice with a bit of lime sauce or some Nando sauce is a really nice way just to kind of give you that, you know, sauce texture without it also being the cost of sauce calories. So, that's another thing you need to be careful if you're on a weight loss journey. Sauces can be quite criminal. So using something like Greek yogurt is a really nice way to still gain that benefit, um, but without, again, having the cost of calories. So, chopped vegetables, really, really simple. So, your chopped carrots, your chopped cucumber. Cucumber is a great one, good for detoxing the body, lots of fluid as well. Um, Tomatoes, peppers. If you must, then you can have a hummus dip. No hate on that, but just be careful because it can be quite high in calories and really easy to consume. Because that's another thing, right, as well. So if it's easy to consume, then it's quite dangerous because you can just have loads and loads of it without even thinking. Nuts are on there. Obviously, that's dependent if you're allergic or not. Again, it's a good snack, but I think I put this on here more so just for caution because you always see mixed nuts promoted everywhere. Everyone's like, oh yeah, you should be having some nuts, like really easy snack. True. Um, Again, they're just really easy to eat. Um, so, um, they're really easy to eat. They're really easy to overconsume. So if you are on a calorie deficit, then I'd stay away from nuts personally, unless you're able just to have like a little pot of it, and then you kind of know how many calories are there. Um, Diet drinks are a game changer. Don't worry about, you know, um, sweeteners that are going to kill you. Trust me, red meat is more likely to kill you than diet drinks. So, you know, data has come out to suggest that we're good if you're having diet drinks at the minute. And, if it helps you to keep sane, more importantly, and in a calorie deficit, then there's nothing wrong with diet drinks. Um, and then we've got rice cakes and popcorn. So popcorn might be a surprise. Again, you just have to be careful about what brand that is and what flavor it is. So obviously like toffee popcorn drizzled in like toffee or caramel or whatever it is not going to be good. But generally, popcorn is a really good light snack. Again, you can have quite a lot of volume of it, and it's not as, taxing or demanding on the calories as most other snacks. So popcorn's a great one. Rice cakes, really, really good. You can get rice cakes in loads of different flavors. I know not everyone's a fan of rice cakes, but it's still a really good option to have, and you can have quite a few of them, and they're not as bad for calories. But again, I think it's more so about the digestion side that the rice is a lot lighter on the body, and it's easier to digest and kind of distribute around the muscles and the blood. Alternative to rice, if you're not a rice fan, then obviously you've got things like couscous. Love couscous. So easy as well. You buy it in packets, a bit of water, game changer. Don't forget about couscous. Obviously you've got things like mixed grains. Usually that comes with some sort of a rice if you're buying it in packs. Um, Obviously you've got like lentils. Beans are another great way of, getting some carbohydrates. Um, Pasta, obviously, depending on how your body digests that. Um, but pasta is another option as well. And yeah, beans, pulses, lentils, any type of grain. But I think couscous is probably my next go-to if I'm not cauliflower rice. Yeah, 100%. Um, because you just got to break it down, right? It's just cauliflower. Probably not. I'm not sure how the carbs are on that, but yeah, like it's absolutely if that's something you can stick to, then cool. Just need to I might have to get back to you on that because I don't know what like additives or how that's actually formed, but from what I'm aware of, I'm pretty sure that's absolutely fine. Um, So they're like my top five snacks. Greek yogurt, game changer. You can kind of have that whenever you feel like in the day. Again, really good for sauces as well. So if you're sick of the dry shit, then chuck like a tablespoon of Greek yogurt in, mix it up. You can add some lime juice. You can add a little bit of Nando sauce. Nando sauce is a lot better on calories than most other sauces. So, you can spice it up a bit. chopped vegetables always have some sort of a container of, carrots, um, celery. I think you're an absolute weirdo if you like celery, but each to their own. Um, Peppers and cucumber. Mixed nuts, just be cautious of, which is why it's there. Not really like a massive fan, but they are really good fats, and they will give you really good nutritional. It's like more of a nutritional aspect. Um, Diet drinks just to keep you sane. You're not going to get cancer. You're going to get cancer from a hundred other things. And then rice cakes and popcorn are game changers as well. Um, yeah, and eggs. Yeah, chuck an egg in your rice. Egg fried rice. It's like so simple. I think sometimes we overlook the simple stuff and we demonize things. And again, like I forgot like even noodles, like rice noodles, are really, really good. Trying to again, it's trying to stay away from not like it doesn't have to be a specific rule, but like a general rule of thumb, if you can find something that's rice based rather than wheat, then it's typically a little bit better. So if you can find like a rice noodle or um it's typically better than kind of like an egg and or wheat noodle. But yeah, chuck an egg into your rice, another great way just to kind of flavor stuff up, especially when you get that yolk in there. It's really, really good. And soy sauce as well. I really like soy sauce. Just a drizzle of soy sauce on rice can also be a game changer. So, yeah, not as much time to spend on each individual thing, because there was four topics rather than probably just one where we go more in depth. Um, if there are any more questions or as I kind of upload these as bite-sized episodes, then make sure you feed back in the group chat or just drop me a message, if you want me to go in depth with anything else, because I appreciate that I try to fly through this as with as much information but as little as possible to actually get through it. But yeah, hopefully the bite-sized video helps as well. You'll be able to refer back to it, and as you come across questions or that, make sure you drop it in the group chat. If you're watching this back on YouTube, then leave a comment below. And if you're watching this or listening to this in the car, on Spotify, then you can drop me a message on Instagram, Sean Kenny underscore, or on WhatsApp or the group chat if you are a client. So hopefully this helped today, and I hope this finds all the right people. I will end this here and have a wonderful evening.